Hello everyone, welcome to my Car Review 2025 official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Particularly when it comes to high-end models, Europeans are infamously brand loyal. That hasn't stopped the upstart Chinese carmaker series from taking a stab at the European market with a fully electric SUV though. To find out what the Series 5 has to offer potential owners, we recently spent a week behind the wheel. In 2023, the Series 5 made its debut in Europe, and it was gradually introduced throughout the continent until 2024. With a somewhat longer body, the model is similar in form to the Chinese counterpart that has been available since 2019. Series and Huawei collaborated to release the updated 80M5 in 2022. But the global spec Series 5 that we tested has not yet received the same makeover. Despite its Chinese roots, Series, originally known as SF Motors, has a presence in Silicon Valley and formerly had lofty goals of selling automobiles in the United States. However, as the business turns its attention to Europe, South America, and the Middle East, these ambitions seem to have been quietly shelved. A few quick facts: model Series 5 2025 cost €57,500, $62,800 with local EV subsidies included. Measurements: 185.4 inches, 4,710 millimeters in length, 76 inches, 1,930 millimeters in width, 63.8 inches, 1,620 millimeters in height, 113.2 inches, 2,875 millimeters is the wheelbase. Weight at the curb, 5,203 pounds, 2,360 kilograms. Powertrain: 2 AWD electric motors, 577 horsepower, 430 kilowatts / 585 pounds, and 940 m, 693 pound-feet, are produced in 4.2 seconds at 0 to 62 f, 0 to 100 km/h. Range: 483 kilometers / 300 miles, WLTP. Battery: 80 kilowatt-hours. Smooth and curvy lines are on sale. Series has tried to offer something different from the many new Chinese automakers who rely largely on imitating their well-established rivals. We're looking at you, other automakers. Although some design elements may be familiar to automobile enthusiasts, such as the DS-style curved daytime running lights, or a subtle reference to the Porsche Macan in the rear end, the Series 5 largely stands alone. The aerodynamic bodywork's most notable element is the greenhouse's leaf shape, which is accentuated with chrome. By highlighting the sculpted back shoulders, the EV's shape blurs the distinction between conventional and coupe-style SUVs. The sporty tone created by the standard 21-inch alloy wheels and red brake calipers emphasizes that the Series 5 is more of a GT crossover than an adventurous SUV. While driving the Series 5, I observed that it garnered more attention than the typical EV, and that many people were interested in it. However, this could simply be because it's a new product that piques interest. But even though it just arrived in Europe, the design is beginning to seem old in comparison to more recent rivals. Although the firm would prefer to place the Series 5 against similarly sized premium SUVs like the BMW iX3, Mercedes GLC, and Audi Q6 e-tron, it is a direct competitor of the Tesla Model I at 4,710 millimeters, 185 inches in length. It's nice to be in the cabin. As soon as you enter, you are welcomed with high-end features like the wood accents and the Nappa leather upholstery. Even while it falls short of the high-end vehicles from brands like BMW and Genesis, the perceived quality, fit, and finish are higher than you would anticipate from a new brand. Comfortable seats with heating, ventilation, massaging, and memory features are among the many amenities that come standard. There is also a panoramic glass top. With its appropriate gear lever, storage spaces, and two cooling wireless charging mats, the floating center console is a great addition. The focal point is a 15.6-inch touchscreen that resembles that of a Tesla and houses all of the car's features. Despite having a reasonably user-friendly design, the infotainment system lacks tactile controls for important features like drive modes and air conditioning, which can occasionally make it difficult to operate on the move. The absence of Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which limits your smartphone's connectivity to Bluetooth, is a more obvious omission. Although there are media and call buttons on the steering display and digital instrument cluster provide all the necessary information, their visuals may use some updating as they only alter when you're in race driving mode. Positively, the infotainment screen has eye-catching backgrounds and oddball widgets like camping mode and take a break, so at least you'll have something to do when the car is parked. Regretfully, the audio system failed to meet my expectations. Although the bass and volume are good, the clarity is subpar. With their own USB outlets, climate vents, seatback net pockets, and a central armrest with cup holders and a storage cubby, rear passengers receive the same amount of attention as those in the front seats. Tall people will have more than enough headroom once you get past the strange form of the back doors. Although not as generous as in some other models in the category, the rear legroom is sufficient. At 367 liters, 13 cubic feet, in the 5-seater configuration, and an extra 67 liters, 2.4 cubic feet, in the trunk, the boot space is where things get a touch crowded. The tailboard comes next, and I must admit that I struggled to open it for a few minutes. It turns out that the rear windscreen wiper has the designated button installed. Owners will be aware, but even though their responses should be fascinating, it is inconvenient to have to explain this to each and every passenger when they wish to place things in the rear. Impressions from the wheel of an electric Grand Tourer. I was impressed by the Series 5's excellent levels of comfort even after just a few minutes of driving, because the suspension evened out the road's cracks, potholes, and bumps. The cabin is a haven since the chassis feels solid and the acoustic insulation is comparable to that of high-end competitors. There is only one little problem. However, it is visible if you are paying attention. The electric motor's faint hiss at low speeds. Despite having daunting numbers that would make any supercar from the 1990s look in comparison, the Series 5 was a pleasant car to drive. This is particularly noticeable in eco mode, where performance is subordinated to efficiency. More grunt is available in comfort mode, which is ideal for daily use. Sport and race modes release the maximum 577 horsepower, 430 kilowatts, 585 pounds, and 940 m, 693 pound-feet of torque. The Series 5 maintains its composure even in the most demanding situations, providing seamless power delivery and little wheel spin when you floor it from a stop. Its excellent acceleration makes interstate overtakes seem straightforward, especially when you're going between 60 and 140 kilometers per hour, 37 and 87 miles per hour. As a long-distance cruiser, the Series 5 shines in this situation. By default, the steering is quite mild, which makes it perfect for city driving, but less suitable for aggressive handling. Fortunately, there is a setting that increases steering weight, although it still feels fake and necessitates turning off several lane-heaping ADAS capabilities first. Overall, it's evident that the Series 5 wasn't designed to chase hot hatches on twisty roads, even though it has a lot of power and a suspension that handles its weight admirably. Charging and range. If you drive sensibly, the 80 kilowatt-hours lithium iron phosphate battery pack should last you roughly 400 kilometers, 250 miles. The most efficient drivers may approach the WLTP estimate of 483 kilometers, 300 miles, but it's difficult to resist when 577 horsepower begs you to accelerate. Although most real-world drivers experienced a range of 240 to 260 miles, The Series 5's range is equivalent to that of the departing Tesla Model Y Performance, which was rated for 280 miles in the US. A 100 kilowatts DC charger can charge the battery from 30% to 80% in 25 minutes. Although that's respectable, it's slower than other competing EVs made by the Hyundai Group or other Chinese automakers. Additionally, purchasers in China have the option of a range extender powertrain, which is better suited for hypermilling, but in Europe, the BEV is the sole option. Cost and competitors. Seres has priced its sole EV product more in line with European standards, in contrast to other Chinese automakers like BYD, which cater to budget-conscious consumers. The Series 5 costs €57,500, about $62,500, including local EV incentives in Greece, where we tested it. It cost €64,990, $70,700, in Germany, where there is less supply. These numbers pertain to the full-spec AWD trim, which is the only one offered in Europe at the moment. Potential customers should be aware of depreciation, as is common with a new brand such as Seres. For as little as €40,000, $43,700, used 2024 versions with extremely low mileage are already available. This is not good news for the original owners, but it's a terrific bargain for anyone searching for a one-year-old EV with lots of performance. Review: we'd wait for the EV5, even though the facelifted Ka EV6 is competition. The Series 5 will encounter formidable obstacles. For instance, a similar AWD long-range variant of the Tesla Model Y starts at €43,990, $47,900, in Greece. At €56,990, $62,000. The redesigned Kia EV6 GT AWD is a strong competitor as well. Although there are a few high-end options in the same price range, their base configurations often have less power. For instance, the Lexus RZ 450e costs €58,700, $63,900. The newer Audi Q6 e-tron starts at a significantly higher €67,980, $73,900. And the outgoing BMW iX3, which isn't available in the US, starts at €52,950, $57,600, here in Greece. The pricing of the Mercedes-Benz GLC's fully electric replacement and the incoming BMW iX3 new class will be interesting to compare. Conclusion: as you might anticipate from a more well-known brand, the all-electric Series 5 provides a smooth ride, lots of power, and a high-end feel. Even though it's new, it has a unique style and a well-built interior with lots of standard amenities. The lack of contemporary networking options, which might be fixed in a future update. The lack of tactile controls for necessary features, and some very antiquated design elements are some of its main shortcomings. The Series 5's greatest obstacle, meanwhile, is the fierce competition it faces from well-known companies that already have devoted followings. Furthermore, it lacks the pricing advantage usually associated with Chinese models, which is one of the primary selling reasons for many purchasers, as well as the brand reputation of its European and Japanese competitors. It could be worthwhile to think about bringing the Chinese market's range-extending model of the 5 to Europe, if Seres can bring down the price. This would offer the vehicle a much-needed competitive advantage. So what do you guys think about this update? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my videos, please press like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time.